I'm Cassandra, and I work with ThedaCare. I'm also a busy mom of 3.
Camden, no thanks. Hey.
Doing it all is more challenging than ever, and that includes making healthcare decisions. So, welcome to Health Inspired Talk, where we cut through the confusion, we chat with experts, and we help you get the care you need for you and your family.
What are you doing?
Nothing. I'm bored. I'm bored. What? I'm bored. There's nothing to do here.
Many of us spend a lot of the year wishing for the longer, warmer days of summer. While the season can be a time of relaxation, it can also bring stress and challenges. Schedules are jam-packed. A trip to the beach or pool can turn into worrying about safety. An injury or summer illness can derail plans. Between applying sunscreen and bug spray and kids who say they're bored, summer can quickly feel less than serene. But fear not, there are ways to maintain balance. In today's episode of Health Inspired Talk, we're discussing ways to keep summer safe and sane. Joining us first today is Jen Reichart, a pediatric nurse practitioner with ThedaCare Physicians Pediatric Starboy. Jen, thanks for being with us.
You're welcome.
So we know that kids are eagerly anticipating the beginning of summer, and we know it's important to keep their minds and bodies in movement. So why is that so important?
So important to keep them active. Again, like you said, minds and bodies, keep them moving, keep a consistent routine, and also to avoid the summer slide. And that's kind of the loss of academic skills that you've learned the year prior, which can be pretty significant if you're not using that mind and body. So,
what are some little things that we can do to make sure that we're avoiding that summer slide?
I can't stress enough structure and keeping every day a routine. It's important for mental health, important for sleep schedules, and incorporating new activities and fun into the daily activities that it will increase learning.
So speaking of new activities, we brought back our spinning wheel, and we have some summer activities in here, and we're hoping that you can talk through these with us.
Okay, sure.
All right, do you want to give us a spin?
Absolutely.
First one, outdoors.
Oh, there's so many things that we can help kids discover and do outdoors. Not only physically, but cognitively, they can be learning while they're doing things. Some great examples, scavenger hunts, having them look around in the woods, in the neighborhood, having them find objects and just research them, different leaves, different trees. There's just so many outdoor activities, swimming, water games, all those things.
Love it. All right. Screen time, that's a big one.
That is a big one. Kids of all ages like screen time, but we encourage you to limit it. Make sure they're not in front of their screen more than they're outside playing, especially in the summer.
On average, how much screen time should a child be receiving?
You know, I would say in the summertime, limit it to 1 hour, maybe 2 on a rainy day, but I think it's really important to put those limits on. And again, keep those routines consistent.
All right, next one, why don't you spin again? Online learning. So what are some things we need to consider for online learning during the summer months?
So I think there's great opportunities with online learning. There's many different sites, Babbel, learning different languages, and even the games. You know, some online games can be really helpful. Also math games.
Yes.
Puzzles, those kind of things. It's all good to engage their minds during the summer months.
Do you want to give our board another spin? Sports, that's very popular.
Absolutely. So sports, another great way to become physically active. Again, also it helps increase social skills. Kids learn teamwork, interacting with peers. They don't have to be athletes to be in sports. Try to find what their interests may be and put them in a sport that they may have never tried.
What's next?
All right.
Live library. What a great one for the summer.
Absolutely. The library is such a great place for kids. There's many reading clubs they can enter. They can start reading contests with their friends, perhaps. Make it a fun event to all go together, read together.
All right, next
There we
one.
go.
Hobby.
So here's another great opportunity. Start new hobbies, whether it be art activities, jewelry, beading, cooking, going grocery shopping and looking up recipes.
That's like a life skill, right?
Absolutely.
That you'll need later in life. And
Yep.
you can incorporate math. I know we do that a ton
Yep,
with baking
absolutely.
and cooking.
And science also, so important. Yeah.
I love all of those things.
Yeah.
Jen, this is excellent advice. Before we let you go, we want to think ahead just a little bit. We know the summer's still young, but it's never too early to begin thinking and planning for the school year ahead. So do you have any reminders for us as families are prepping to go back to school?
Sure, absolutely. So summer's a great time to make sure you can call and get in for well visits, sports physicals, get those vaccines updated, which we all know is so important for health. And again, I can't stress enough staying in a routine. Even though it's summer, it's just good to keep a schedule consistent that'll prep them and make them become successful for the school year.
Those are all excellent reminders. Jen, thank you again for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Summertime, especially around holidays, can bring a spike in emergency department visits. While we tend to get a break from respiratory illnesses like flu, certain types of accidents and injuries become more common during the summer months. Dr. Bill Comfrey, Associate Chief Medical Officer for ThedaCare Emergency Medicine, joins us now to share some tips for ways to stay out of the emergency department in the summer. Dr. Comfrey, thanks for being with us.
Happy to be here, my pleasure.
So we're going to take a look at some of the most common summer injuries and risks. We're going to create a Pictionary game for you. We're going to show you a picture, and then hopefully you can explain what that is and maybe give us some tips and tricks.
Sounds good.
All right, let's jump right in. We have the first one on the screen now.
Big ocean wave and a life jacket. So I'm gonna go with water safety.
Water safety it is. So what are some of the things that we need to consider during the summer months that might lead us to the emergency department when we're out around water?
There's still a lot of drownings. It's the leading cause of unintentional death for the 1 to 4 age group, and then even all the way up to 15 is the second leading cause of death. So really protecting kids and securing your pool, making sure that they're surrounded. If kids can't swim, for starters, got to give them swimming lessons, right? Start with that. As someone that owns a pool, make sure that the people that are using your pool aren't abusing alcohol. Make sure that kids that can't swim or adults that can't swim are using safety vests, and then just common sense. Don't dive into a pool if you don't know the depth.
Absolutely. And that's something we always hear when there are a lot of kids maybe in one spot. It's always great to designate like a watcher, that somebody is always paying attention at all time. They're not taking part in alcohol or anything like that. Do you have those types of recommendations?
Yeah, absolutely. There should be a watcher, and they should, you can get fatigued too, so don't be on your phone, don't be distracted. Even adults have a buddy system, so you're keeping an eye on each other.
Okay. All right, our next Pictionary puzzle up here.
Got a bandage, bicyclist, soccer. I'm gonna go with orthopedic injuries, sports-related injuries.
So what are some things that we can do to prevent maybe those sports injuries and things like that?
It's wearing protective equipment, like bicycle helmets, wrist guards for skateboarding, scootering, things like that. So if you're wearing a helmet, there's like an 88% decreased chance of having a severe brain injury. So it's really using protective equipment.
How do you know when you should go to urgent care or the ED for that type of injury?
Generally, the stuff that I would say go straight to the ER for is if there's some serious injury, like if you have an obvious deformity. Some of them may even need surgery, and there's different things we can do for pain control in the emergency department. If you have an open wound over it, where it could be an open fracture, where there could be infection that goes into the wound, I'd say go to the emergency department. If you can walk on your ankle, the likelihood is that it's probably not a major injury if you're walking pretty well.
Yeah.
But if you can't bear weight and it's severe pain, and you're hopping around, I'm come to the emergency department.
Those are all really, really good tips. All right, our next one.
Fireworks, so I'd say firework-related injuries.
You see a lot of this during the summer months, don't you?
Yes. Oddly, there's like 5 to 10 deaths a year from fireworks, so it's not completely benign. But first of all, make sure it's not around kids. Make sure that you're not intoxicated in using fireworks. Never try to kind of hold fireworks, shoot them at each other. Never try to kind of relight duds. And then always make sure you're nice and clear of, houses, structures, trees, things like that. And always have some water around.
Okay. All right, next one up here. What do you think this is?
It looks like different types of burns. You can see a big old campfire there.
Yep, burns. Okay, lots of camping probably going around, especially in this area. Things that we can do to make sure that we're avoiding, those open flames or injuries like that.
And it's just common sense around campfires too, right? With kids and adults, making sure there's nothing that they could trip around the fire. When you are cooking or using a grill, there's all kinds of grill fires, so have one of those little fire blankets or some type of water supply to kind of put out a fire. Use long tongs, so you're not burning your hands. And then burns, the vast majority of them are, first, second degree burns. A third degree burn would be like charred skin that you can't even sense anything. And there's some purulent drainage or spreading redness or fever, then obviously you should probably go get checked out at the doctor.
When we're talking about burns, we're thinking burns to skin, but it could also be sunburns. So what are some things that we should be thinking about when it comes to sunscreen and kids especially?
The best thing is prevention, right? Knowing what the heat index is, again, the UV index, and how long you can be out in the heat. And understanding with kids when you're on the beach, every 60 minutes, reapply. And something stronger like SPF 35, SPF 50.
Okay, we have our next one.
Well, we got a big old bright sun and a temperature gauge, so I'm going to go with heat safety.
This probably is something you see pretty frequently, right?
There's just a lot of danger for young kids and for pets. So, you don't realize it, but your car can get up to, from the greenhouse effect, can get up to 110 degrees on a 60-degree day. When you get into those hot 90, 100, 110 degree days, it can get up to 160 degrees. So it can be fatal for a kid within an hour. It can be fatal for a pet, like within 10 minutes, they can die on a hot day in a car. It's never safe to leave a child or a pet in the car ever when the UV index is the highest. Wear light clothing and breathable clothing. Try to hang out in the shade on those really hot days.
Drinking lots of water. And when you don't feel well, be aware.
Right, there's heat exhaustion, heat cramps, which is a little bit more mild, where you can kind of get out of the heat and hydrate. And then there's heat stroke, which is the most severe. And the mortality of heat stroke is up to like 80%. There's a fair amount of people that die from heat-related illness every year. And that's where you really start getting dizzy, lightheaded, confused, altered mental status, sleepy, possibly even seizures. And if that happens, it's a true emergency.
Okay. Last one here. What do you think that one might be?
Oh gosh, the guy on the right does not look well on a big old burger. I'll just go with like food poisoning, foodborne illness.
That is it. Summertime, lots of picnics, maybe not proper refrigeration. What do we need to be aware of?
So a lot of times with grilling, undercooked meat, so it's keeping like the uncooked meat away from, the ready-to-eat stuff. Like if you buy it fresh, cook it quickly, don't let it sit in your fridge for a week. And then secondarily, if you're out, and there's some dairy-based potato salad sitting out, or some meat or poultry or cheese, and it's been there for hours in the heat, probably, hit a fast food on the way home or something. I don't know, I wouldn't eat it.
Avoid it at all costs,
Avoid
right?
it, yeah.
All right, these were excellent tips, Dr. Comfrey. Thank you again for being with us. We appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we wish you a safe summer filled with fun and relaxation. If you do need care, our teams are always here for you. Visit our Get Care Now page to learn about all of your options. Have a great summer. At ThedaCare, our mission is to help you live your unique best life. And we want to know what kind of questions you have when it comes to your health care. Leave your questions and comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe so you see the very latest in this series.